like colonization happens through education. Because education is the most powerful tool. You give the information, you learn about the history.
Hi, welcome back to Playdate Podcast, reminiscing your childhood memory. With me, your host today, Dea Folzen. And this is our 8th episode, and let's welcome our new guest from Kazakhstan, Zeinura Yeshimova. I remember the alphabet, but
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's such an honor.
I'm honored to be here. Hi everyone, my name is Zeinura. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I do my master's with Dea in children's literature, media, and cultural entrepreneurship. And before coming to that master's, I did my bachelor's in education, and I learned languages, and I worked as a teacher for 4 years, and I also worked in NGOs, and currently I'm also working in an organization where we help NGOs that they work with children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and since I started my master's, I started engaging in colonial studies, so now I research. I sometimes identify myself as a young scholar. I research literature. I research literature from the colonial perspective, so I research Soviet Kazakh children's literature mostly.
Oh, yeah. A lot of experience
In different fields. Yes, I'm so intersectional sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't have any one field.
I remember when, because it's kind of like funny because you sent me your CV. I feel like, and then because of that we start like chat very professional, and then we said why it's too professional. Maybe it's because you sent me your CV, and I feel like maybe you wanna get a job from me. No,
hire me please.
No, but when I check your, I feel like wow, there's a lot of things she does. Okay, do you know why the name of this podcast like Playdate Podcast?
No.
There's a term. It's very popular in Indonesia, but I don't know is it popular in Kazakhstan or not. So when I was a child, playing, it's something like we do it very without intention. So you can go to your friend's home, and then you can just say, let's go play outside. But children nowadays, their parents should make an appointment to the other parents to play so their children can play together, and they call it as Playdate.
It's when it's lots of processes before playing game, like making an appointment and just planning.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting.
That's why we call it Playdate Podcast, because we plan it and then we'll play this game. So actually, this is my childhood games, very traditional games, and when I talk to Uchena, the one from Nigeria, you can check the podcast in the end because he has this kind of game.
Wow.
Do you have like this kind of game?
We don't have exactly this, but we also used to play like with the balls.
Oh, okay.
But I never played, so I do. But we had also this kind of game, but it's called like Marak. So 9 balls, and in each part there should be 9, but you just play and then you roll them. But I don't really know the.
Oh, okay.
But we had the similar one.
Okay.
But I never played.
Okay, so let me explain how to play this game. So we have. Actually, it should be 50, but I don't know, when I bought this one, they just sent me 49. So that's why I make this one additional. So we have, each of us, we have 5 holes, but in the real game it should be 7 actually. But it will be very long to bring it to different countries. So that's why I just bought this one. So what you need to do, it's like fill the self into your hole. Each should be 5.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You just fill and that's it?
Yeah. No. Oh, you are so kind. You fill my hole. No, actually, when I'm doing this for the first time, I didn't really pay attention how people or my guests, arrange their self.
Yeah.
Until one day, Amy, do you remember our friends? In the second episode, there are a lot of promotion. She realized that the way we fill our hole, it's kind of different. If you check how I felt, I grab
Yeah.
and then doing like this.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it, it's
I
like
was like picking picking 500.
yeah. And the other things is like you help me, so it's very kind of you. Oh my god, I lose one.
Yeah, something is missing.
Oh no. Do you bring something? Oh my god. Is it okay? So maybe this is for you. Thank you so much. So Zeinura, actually how to play this game, it's very easy. You grab this self and then anyway this is your hole and this is my hole. So we'll fill one hole and collect the self, and the winner is who get the most self. So if I get 5 and you get 6, it means you win. I just kind of like modify the game because we need to discuss in this game, so we just need to do like one time.
Okay.
Because in the real game, okay, for example, you check this one, and then
Okay, one, right?
one by one until this. So actually you can still continue the game.
Okay.
But if we do that, we will not discuss.
Yeah, that's true.
When I do this, I will give you question, and when you do that, you will answer my question.
Okay.
So that's how we will play the game.
Okay.
To start, we will do like, what is it? Scissor, papers, rock.
Yeah.
But in Indonesian way.
Okay.
So we have this and this. We call this as people.
Okay.
This is as ant, and this is as elephant.
Okay.
So elephant beats human. People.
Okay. Elephant.
And ant beats elephant.
Okay.
And human beats ant.
Satu,
1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you win. Because you win, we have to tip here. Do you consider yourself as Team Lala or Team Nano? If you think you are an updated person, you are Team Lala. But if you think you are less a borderless person, you are Team Nano. Who do you think you are? You think you updated or borderless?
Borderless, it's like without any borders, you can go anywhere. No? Oh. Yeah, I think so.
You are borderless person? You are Team Nano.
Yeah.
In the end, we'll see who win.
Okay.
So actually, Lala and Nana it's like Cerita Lanaa.
Ah.
Lana it's Lala and
Okay.
Nana. So we make the icon.
Wow. Very
Okay.
thoughtful. I'm
So,
impressed.
so you will go first. Before that, I'll give you a question because it's nothing if you play without answering my question. So my first question, because I introduce you my childhood games. So what is your games or any maybe games that really have your childhood memory?
But I think there are lots of games that I used to play, but at the same time I think I was more of a passive person, so most of the games were related to intellectuality, so we used to play no, but I used to play also traditional games too, so I'm gonna talk about that. But I think we are playing with games such as
Guess the fact.
no, for example, someone is talking about the fact who invented the TV, and then I'm getting the answer. Or for example, word games also. For example, I say one word and from the last letter someone should start the second word, and then we used to connect these words. Have you ever played this game? For example, I say apple and then it ends with E, and then you have to say the word in E.
Yeah.
And then guessing the capitals. For example, what's the capital of Finland? Like that, these kind of games. But I used to play also traditional games.
Okay.
So one of the most powerful and also game that just gives me my childhood memories and also my cultural identity. It's called like Ajarkan, but it's not the game for girls in my society. So, but we used to play. It's just pulling the rope. The direct translation is Ajarkan is pulling the rope. It means that there's rope, and you have two groups, and in one at the same time, these two groups start pulling the rope to their sides. It's just like by strands, and then you just start pulling, and then who has more strands, so they win. And we used to play it in schools and during festivals, and during our New Year, Nauruz.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
Ajarkan.
Akan Tartu. Okay.
Oh,
I-
you pronounced it really correctly.
Oh, okay. Akan Tartu.
I used to play this game because even though when it was like a wedding ceremony, and also I'm from a countryside. I was born in a village, not in the more rural area of Kazakhstan, not in urban. So that's why I think it also affected to the games that I used to play. Yeah, because in I think big cities, no one plays that now. And we used to play with my classmates when I was a child. And also there's one game which is called asal. And then this game is the literal bones, like bones of ankle of a sheep or goat. Yeah. And you have to put it in the line. There's like 9 or 10.
Is that the real bone?
Yeah, real bone of a sheep or Kazakhs, they're nomadic people. Like we didn't have any place to stay. Like we were just nomads moving to one place to another with yurts, depending on the season. So that's why we did rely solely on livestock, like horse, goat, sheep, and then we used them for any kind of life condition that we could survive. And I think it just it stayed from our like historical root, and it just become our games.
Wow, that's interesting actually.
Yeah,
you need to play. Don't forget to play. Okay. So maybe just to remind, it will be better if you play and then you start talk.
Okay.
Because if not, maybe we'll forget that we need to play. So my next question, actually it's kind of like interesting when you talk about your the history of the game. Is it something that you found it, or it's just something that you guess it? I mean, like.
So we used to guess, because even the polling group, it's also so we used to build yurts, right? Like it's really big, and then you have to go higher in order to build that, and it just makes you stronger. So that I think it was also like a training exercise for children, in order to train themselves for to build this kind of yurts, and then, for example, also depending on the livestock. Doing such stuff. I think it was not only games, but at the same time it was like a preparation, training to survive in general. But it just stayed, it remained like our traditional games.
If we check the term of generation, you are more Gen Z. You are Gen Z, not more. You are Gen Z.
Technically, yes.
So what I want to say, it's like all the story that you explained to us, it's more about like very offline games, more interaction, right? You need to do that outside. But as a person growing up as a Gen Z with the growth of technology, social media, how do you think your childhood, do you have like something affected by the digital?
That's a very interesting question, because I think my experience with digitalization in general, with technology, didn't start as it started with my peers, I think, because as I said before, I was born in rural areas, so we were mostly outside. I remember I used to go playing games to my neighbor's house, and then I used to come back like in the evening, like that. And my first smartphone was, I think, when I was studying maybe 9th grade, something like that.
9th grade?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I think it's not because I was so left behind. It's just I think my parents, they were afraid.
But how about your friends?
My friends, so that's the thing, when I talk, also Kazakhstan is really big, right? So we are really different. And when I was at the university, they were talking like, oh, my childhood was Disney movies, and then some Western context, but I had no clue about that. It's like, of course I watched that, but I was not really a fan of that, or like I was obsessed with that, because my consumeration of media was not as it was in my peers, because of my first geographical location, and second, my family background, I think, because most of my parents, they're from educational settings, so they're professors, they teach, so I think it also affected in a way how I start consuming knowledge through technology.
Don't forget you have to play. Very interesting.
That's interesting.
Maybe you can put your ring here.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget this one. It's kind of. So my next question. Do you remember your early media experience?
Yes,
What
I
is
do
that?
remember. So that's interesting because I think my first, I just want to say it in French, my first acquaintance with media, I think, of course, through a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, of course, my parents, they're from education setting, but they never read books when I was a child, for me. But I grew up watching them reading lots of books.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then I remember our first book to us for like children. When I was, I think, 4 or 5, my mom bought like a really big encyclopedia. So we were so surprised. Oh my god, we're gonna learn lots of facts. And then, but it was
okay.
it was in Russian. My first acquaintance with media was in Russian.
Okay.
But when it comes to like TV, that's interesting because I'm from South Kazakhstan. We border with Uzbekistan, and we're closer to Uzbekistan rather than my capital of my country. And then so I used to watch lots of Uzbek movies, TV shows, and music.
Okay.
And that's interesting because it was never my first segment, never in my mother tongue. It was like Russian and then Uzbek.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Because it's like tropical languages, and we live nearby, so I 100% understand the language, and then it was so interesting for me to engage with their like media in general. And they had their channels in our TV mostly. So it was through TV we used to watch films.
How about digital one? Maybe like social media. What content that you consume every day?
Social media, I think it was Vkontakte. So you don't know this app.
Okay.
So, but it is really popular in post-Soviet countries.
Okay.
So Vkontakte, it's like Facebook, but it's more, I think, personalized. For example, if you save some photos, you can make it for everyone, so that everyone can see what kind of photos you saved.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I have ever, or maybe like you have ever shared it to me.
Yeah.
I just remember.
Yeah, like in classes, I think.
Yeah.
I talked about that.
Oh, okay. That's
and
interesting.
then you can share music. You can watch movies. You can listen to the music, and you can talk. And then it was interesting for us because we used to also read news and some like quotes from different movies through this app. And then we used to repost it to ourselves. You can repost, and then, for example, if you talk to someone like for a long time, this person goes up in your list, like friends list, so that from your friends list, people would know that you're talking to that person.
So it's like there's no privacy.
There's no privacy. It was really interesting for us to engage with other personal experiences. Like, for example, of course, at school. My teen age, it was really interesting because I studied in a special boarding school, and I lived there.
Oh, you studied boarding school?
Yeah.
Oh, me too. High five.
Yay! And I lived there, so it was really interesting. But we studied with girls and boys at the same time.
Oh, okay,
together.
That's different.
Yeah, but our building was separated to 2 sides. But when I first started living, we had boys' room, our room, boys' room, like that. But after 1 year, they just decided to change it. It was like boys' side and then girls' side.
Right?
Yeah, you need to continue.
I need to continue to my next question. Actually, it's interesting when you talk about different language that you consume when you interact with the media. The book with Russian. Your first book is Russian, and your television movie or television content that you watch, it's like Uzbekistan, Turkey. But before that, there's one question that I really need to ask you, because we talk about everything about your childhood memory, especially about the games or maybe the media with different language. Do you think there is one thing all of them affect you? How this contribute to who you are today?
Yeah, but I think here we're missing lots of context because so even though my first acquaintance with media in general, whose education was in different languages. But after like 2 years, I think, so when I started my boarding school, I was deeply engaged in Kazakh literature. So I used to participate in different kind of Olympiads in Kazakh literature. Like, used to write lots of stories based on novels and books. And so I think it did shape the way how I see the world. And also I think because I consumed lots of Kazakh literature, so I think I became more patriotic.
Oh, okay.
In a way that I was preserving my language and then culture heritage, because I knew what kind of experience went through my past generation in order to have this like independent country, and then what kind of situation happened in our history because of the novels that I read. So I know how painful it was. So I think I have this like responsibility of preserving and then just raising awareness of my culture, of my nationality in general. So I think it did affect the way how I identify myself too, even though I say like I'm a liminal person because I can fit into one culture, nationality, but I think part of me is still striving to talk about my nationality. Like, I'm Kazakh, we have this, so you don't know anything about Kazakhstan. We have lots of traditional games, we have very rich history and everything, just because I think I consumed lots of media in my own language.
Don't forget. So what is your mother tongue? Kazakh language. And how many languages you can speak?
I speak 5 languages. Actually, I don't know how it happened, because I think being bilingual played a really important role in speaking 5 languages, because so I was speaking only Kazakh till 5 or 6 years. And then when I started talking to my peers and then reading books and social media, it was in Russian, and I started speaking Russian too. But it was not like a real practice for me, because in the region that I was born, most people speak in Kazakh. When I moved to bigger cities, they spoke only Russian, so I think it was like a practice for me. Before that, I had just only theoretical, so I was just reading books. But in Russian. And then I started practicing. But it was never a thing for us to speak in only one language in my family too, because you know, like for example, we're just speaking and then suddenly I just could switch and then I can start speaking in Russian and they answer to me in Russian. It's a very normal thing for us.
Really?
Yeah, it's a normal thing. We just switch between languages.
So,
and then I was interested in learning English too. And I was like, I want to speak English, and I started learning English, and I entered to university where the medium instruction was in English. But it was Kazakh Turkish university, so I had to learn Turkish. It was like a mandatory course for us. So, and most of my professors were from Turkey, and so I had also practice, but I can understand, but I think between these 5 languages, Turkish is the least practiced one. And then French, I chose French at the university when I was studying 2nd year. I think it's 4 years now that I'm learning French. And now we're in France.
And do you remember? I just remember one moment when we just arrived here, and then we want to buy the second hand, and then when I want to pay, Zeinura, help me.
I remember.
Okay, it's mine. Is it mine? Now it's me. So, what is my next question? So my next question, I wanna because you start talking about we start talking about language, and with these 5 language, but you still say your mother tongue, your native language is Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is the country. sorry. But maybe do you think it's important, because you also mentioned about bilingual and how in your family you can switch the language. And can you talk a bit about how being bilingual, or maybe like multilingual like you? I can speak Kazakh, but when you move to the big city in Kazakhstan, they speak Russian.
Yeah.
And how do you see this? Because I remember your story when you met Zanka,
Yeah.
our friend from Kazakhstan
Yeah.
too, and at that moment you speak Russian.
When we first
Yeah.
started talking,
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh, you speak Kazakh." I was, yeah, I also speak Kazakh.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's speak only in Kazakh. Like,
I think not all our audience knowing about the history of your country, and maybe give us a little bit context about
Yeah.
Russian and Kazakhstan.
yeah, how we're related. The reason why we speak Russian and why our official language is in Russian, why most of the part they speak in Russian, and the superior. Okay, I don't want to use superior, but I think majority of people are Russian. It's because of the colonization. So starting from early 1921, we also were part of the Soviet Union in general, and we gained our independence after like 70 years, 1991.
Oh, 1991.
We got our independence from Soviet Union, so we were part of the USSR in general, and I think we did suffer a lot from colonization because of our region and because of our nomadic lifestyle, I think. Because, for example, there's Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and other countries, but Uzbekistan, they had their history already built, they had their cities, so it was not that easy to manipulate, to regulate them, so it was easier for them to navigate us because it's a very big country and we're less. It was also genocide happened to language laws, so lots of things happened, so it did really affect the way how we live in Kazakhstan now. So most of the things that are unfortunately in Russian, so for example, if you want to get a job, good in Kazakhstani context, like high paid job, so you have to know Russian. If you don't know Russian, there's not a big chance that you can get like a good job. So it's like a mandatory thing for you to know. And most of the official bureaucracy documents, they're always firstly in Russian. Yeah, and then even though like you're going to the supermarket, you're going to the restaurant, and then first they say like "Здравствуйте," it's like in Russian hello, like, and then if you say like "Salim," they might switch to Kazakh, but their first word is in Russian, like that because it's easier for them. Yeah, and even in the authority, like there are people who don't know our language.
Even if they are Kazakh?
Yeah, like you know, it's a normal thing. Like they're Kazakh, but they never spoke in Kazakh because of the region too, because of the family background too. Because they say like, yeah, I'm Kazakh, but I think I feel more Russian because never got to celebrate these kind of traditions, or I never spoke this language in my childhood, like that. But also it's really complex, I think, complicated to explain, but colonialism affected in a way that we speak languages. So, for example, colonizer, they just made this kind of framework that colonizer's language, colonizer's country, they are the best, they're more intellectual, they have the more possibilities, so by lowering the colonies' identity, culture, so that's why, for example, when I was teaching, it was an individual class with my student, and then he said he's Kazakh and then he never speaks Kazakh. I was like, okay, why don't you speak Kazakh? And we were talking about like languages, and then he said I just don't want. And I was speaking with his mom, and then I was also teaching his mom too, you know. Yeah. It was like separate lessons, and then she was telling me the story that her first language was Russian, even though he was Kazakh, but he moved to the region where only Kazakh children were, and then they were speaking only in Kazakh, and then when he couldn't speak Kazakh, they tried to make fun of his Kazakh language, so like it remained like a big trauma for him, so he never spoke that again.
Oh, really?
It was, yeah, and then I realized that this stigma between choosing languages, so for example, if you make mistakes in speaking in Russian, they were like, oh my god, you are not well educated, or oh, you don't have enough knowledge to speak because you're from like village or like from rural area, like that, you know. Or even though when you're trying to speak Kazakh, they're also like stigmatization. Oh my god, you don't know Kazakh language, so you can't speak enough, like that. It's just there's this very big complex tendency between choosing languages. It's either triggering people who are learning Kazakh and also who are learning Russian too. Just
but
one of the sides.
Okay. Anyway, we need to play. But is it me? No, it's you.
I play. No. Okay.
I think I have played. It's you now.
Okay.
But okay, sorry. There's one thing in my mind right now. My question is like, so in your media, let's say talking about television or maybe social media, what language do you use?
Well, in social media, we use Russian. Viral videos, memes. Yes. When I was a child, I think, not a child, I started consuming media when I was a teenager. So I think in my teenage, mostly everything was in Russian.
Oh, okay.
And even though it was interesting for us because my peers, even though they never spoke Russian in real life, they used to post their things in Russian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it because if you post it in Russian, many people will relate with the content?
I think in my term it was like, if you post in Russian, it means like, oh, this language, you are more educated than those who speak only Kazakh, like that, like you are more superior, like that, because you speak two languages, like that. You can like fluently speak. It's not like we all speak, we're bilingual, but fluently, coherently speak, like that.
Oh, okay.
And also I think it was easier for us because Vkontakte, it was really popular between post-Soviet country, and then they also shared Russian language so that it could reach to that audience too.
Okay, so I don't know, I feel based on what our discussion, is it right if I conclude that the perception of Kazakh language in children's or maybe around teenager, it's like, how to say it, if you want to be more engaging with the trend, you should speak or use Russian. So it's like those who speak Kazakhs, it's more about, like you said, rural people.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah, I think it is, but most people don't want to admit that. But yeah, as a person who researched colonialism in general, there's a term which is called like mind colonization. So that the colonizers' first idea is like, you colonize the mindset of the people. So for example, the best you dream just by the framework of these colonizers. For example, I researched one book, Kazakh book, but it was published in Soviet time. And then he's 13 years old, he really likes writing, he's so engaged with like media and everything, but his dream was like to become a Soviet pioneer writer.
Okay.
Like, it was not like, oh, I want to become a writer in general. No, it was like, I want to become a writer of the Pioneer magazine, because like he wanted to become like Soviet hero. Just they colonize even the way how they think, how they dream.
Okay.
So that from the ladder, the top thing, it is just in their context, like, okay, Soviet hero, it's like the most insane thing that anyone can do. So I'm dreaming about that, like that. So I think it also. I also researched that, for example, when colonization happens, it's just they make our mindset in a way that we segregate ourselves within the region, within our nationality, within our culture. We segregate, for example. So as I mentioned before, those who speak both languages, okay, oh, they're so good. It's just why? Because during the colonization, it was actually true, because if you didn't know Russian, you couldn't have any education, because most of the all of the universities were in Russian language. And if you want to get like higher education or schools, they were in Russian, and at schools it was obligatory. Because why? Like colonization happens through education, because education is the most powerful tool. You give the information, you learn about the history, and then so that you their upbringing will be in a way that they will be Soviet heroes, very this kind of children that are striving to be like, oh my god, Stalin, thank you for our childhood, like
Okay. Anyway, don't forget.
I played.
You have played?
Yeah.
Okay, it's mine. My turn. Okay. But do you know, Zeinura, actually, it's many things that you said. It's kind of surprised me, honestly. So I feel like I have some list, but I feel, should I ask this list or should I continue based on what you said? But there's one thing that I really want to know, because when my expectation when we want to discuss, it's like I really want to know the influence of being in the, what is that? You as a Kazakh people, you live between,
Yeah.
what is that? Two countries? No. European, Asian, Eurasia.
Yeah. Most of people say like we're from Eurasia, like
Yeah.
we're heart of Eurasia. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, what I'm thinking initially, it's like maybe we can, maybe I want to talk more about you as a Eurasia.
Yeah.
But after what you explained, I just want to know, do you think being a Eurasia, is it right?
Eurasia.
Eurasian, it's more affected or it's more influenced you as a people, as a Kazakh person that really patriotic, or it's because the post-colonialism of Russia? Which one that more influential in your in you as a person who want to thrive the culture, who want to make this language as their identity?
I think like both sides, they have their own reasons in shaping me like a person who's trying to raise awareness of their culture. But I think mostly it's the colonialism, I think. Why I was so engaged when I started my master's, it's because there's a historical erasure in our history lessons, so we never got to talk about like genocide, what I mentioned before, or like the language erasure in general. Lots of the things that are erased from our history, so we were blind that it was never like a thing. Because my parents' generation, they lived in Soviet Union, right? And then I was born from independent country. That's also like really controversy sometimes. And then we start talking about this colonialism, and then most of my parents' generation think that it was better when we lived in Soviet times. Yeah, because of this socialistic idea, so that no one never had like their wealth. So for example, if they're earning more money, so they had to give to the authority, so that it was just gathered and collected to others, like that. So and then everything was stable, their job. So that's why I think they kind of romanticize. But as a third perspective person, I read this history and I research, and then I see how it happened in general. I have a very strong opinion on that, and sometimes it's really controversial to talk like, what do you think? And then they say, I was the one who lived in that time, it was better, and I was like, no, it was better for you because they made you think that it's the best one, like that. So I think mostly colonialism shaped me, but at the same time I think being bilingual, being in between, helped me to not to be like individualistic, I think. Yeah, of course it depends on my culture. We're collectivist country.
Ours too.
Yeah, but at the same time I think not being so egocentric. Like for example, I knew that except my culture and nationality, there are lots of things that I have to learn because they're all deeply ingrained in my identity. Because so for example, it's interesting, I have a friend from Lithuania. She was Lithuania also was part of the Soviet Union, and then we share lots of foods, childhood memories, and then they also learned Russian like that. And also I share lots of things with Central Asian countries like Kazakhstan. We have the same food, traditional food, same games, and traditions and mentality. So it's just like I am everywhere. But at the same time nowhere.
No. Oh, that's good. Everywhere but nowhere. Oh, okay.
Like I can find pieces of my childhood memories in any country like that. But at the same time I can never find like one image of my childhood in one country.
I got it. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
And to play. But if you can explain a bit about being people as everywhere but nowhere, especially because I really want to know about your perspective as Eurasian. What do you think the most influential thing be as that person?
I think this feeling like ambiguous, liminal person helped me to accept and react to the things in a certain way, to look at the situation from the third perspective, or like not to be okay, I don't want to say like selfish, but like egocentric. For example, when we are talking about like social problems, so for example, children with disabilities, I don't know, children from orphanage, of course focus on my country, but at the same time I know that there are different situations in different contexts, and I am aware that I acknowledge that it's different, and I think it just helps me in a way that I'm this person, I'm from this nationality, but at the same time there are other countries that are in similar in their lower or higher conditions, so I have to also acknowledge that too. For example, when I talk like, okay, in Kazakhstan the situation is like that, but I know that their situation is worse and then best happening in the world, so I never get to dramatize or romanticize one thing because of being in between, like being not monolingual, like multilingual. It just helps me to accept the situation, to accept social problems from a certain perspective, I think, and not to be solely focused on my own culture identity.
Okay, so I think I have 2 questions before we end this game. So my second question before end will be about, because we also talk about identity, belonging. Maybe can you share something for children that they will feel, oh, I belong to this country, I belong to this place, or like, oh, this is my identity, because you grew up in very multicultural. In Eurasian you have and also the post-colonialism of Russian, and also you just develop your own culture. So what do you think one aspect or maybe several aspects that can make children feel they belong to this place, they belong to this culture?
I think one of the most important thing in creating this sense of belongingness in children, I think, to make their first acquaintance with media, consuming media in their own language, mother tongue. So this is also like ongoing issue in Kazakhstan, because they say learning languages like Russian, English, it's from the first grade, and then they say no, they have to learn first their own language, like till third grade, and then start learning Russian and other languages like that, because like they are just forming their personality, they are just getting to know the world, but they also getting to know certain cultures, language. It's just difficult process for them. So that's why I think first they have to consume, read lots of literature in their own language. It's not like, for example, reading Harry Potter in Kazakh language. It's not like that, but just reading literature that was published, that was written by Kazakh authors, because I think by reading you don't only read story, you also look thoroughly into the historical events, and at the same time language also, I think it's a very big tool for our culture heritage. For example, the way how the author use language, it's like, for example, different expressions and emotions that cannot be translated into any languages. Like for example, also depends if the author was from like West region, and then they're using certain words, and you're like, oh, they're using this word, but we have alternative of this word, like that. They just create this kind of sense of belongingness, I think. So like, oh, this is my language, and I'm reading this story, and then these were my like grandparents' life, like that. It's just I think creates the way how they shape their personality based on that events in the story. And I think also, if for example you're consuming media, like you're reading literature in other languages, it might not seem really intimate to you, I think, like than your own language. I think. And the more children consume, I think the bigger they build this framework of consuming, reading literature, so they build habits of it, so that, and after that I think they can switch to other languages, and then so that they create, oh, my culture was like that, they had these traditions, but wow, we don't have it, or like, oh, this happened in this month, or like in this year, and we used to celebrate that, but we don't do that now, or oh, this author using this word, that we also use this word like that, you know, just creates this, like, for children, like cozy atmosphere where they feel that they are seen, they are heard, and they're not the only one who are living in the world, like they generations pass through these moments too, so like they can also learn from that. And also I think it's important for children to read in their own language. It's because it's also, they can create their childhood memories through that books, and later on they can create the sense of like nostalgia in general. For example, I have lots of books in Kazakh authors that are like giving me these nostalgic moments. I know this nostalgia is like pink glasses, it's never the reality of the world, but this just gives me this feeling, and then I want to go back to that moment, but I can never. So that it means I can go back only through my children. So it's also like, you know, I can transmit this habit to through generation, but I think it can also preserve the culture, you know, nationality in general.
But do you know, anyway, have you played?
I think yes.
Okay, I will play my last game, but
I think I did.
okay. But you know, when you talk about all of them, I feel like, oh, maybe this should be my last question. But there's one thing that really want to discuss, because we talk about this, how children. No, I mean, like, you talk about it will be better for parents to introduce literature media in their own language, because there's one, I don't know, maybe I can say it's like trend in Indonesia, back in Indonesia, about one language, one parent.
Yeah,
Do
actually I've heard that. Yeah, it's like a very big thing. For example, father talks in Russian, mother talks in Kazakh, and then the brother talks in English with the child, so that they're like trilingual.
Oh yeah, that's happened in Indonesia too. It is, I think it's because, okay, I just want to talk in my personal experience. My native language is Indonesian, and I learned to speak English. Not speak, I just learned English in elementary school, high school, junior and senior, and also university. But at that moment, the reason why I learned that language just to pass the class, until I have an idea to study abroad, and then I need to take course like 6 months for learning IELTS. We also need IELTS, right? And then at that moment I learned English again, and at that moment I just realized, oh, I knew English, but I cannot speak English because I didn't practice. And so I think that's become the general problem in Indonesia. Even for me, I'm thinking like, because I have like niece, right? That they asked me like, I want to learn English because I want be like you, studying abroad. And do you think at what age should I learn English? And I feel like, oh yeah, at what age? I also don't know. And because of this trend, I feel like, is it the good things to make the one parents, one language? Is it the good thing for children to learn new language? Or because I have ever checked one video talking about one children become speech delay because the parents trying to speak a different language. So as a person with multilingual and also with different culture, maybe in your own perspective, how can we teach a different language to children? And maybe based on your personal experience too. So at what age, and also can you give an opinion about this trend too?
So that's actually a really interesting question from your side. This is like ongoing trend in Kazakhstan too. Like I think it also happens from the parents' perspective, like because they couldn't speak the second language, or like, my children, they never need to suffer from that, so they have to learn from their childhood. That would be easier for them to find jobs, like to study abroad, like that. It's but scientifically, of course, when you learn language, you also like you get new information, and then it's really useful for your brain cells too. But at the same time, I think there's a certain age. In Kazakhstan, we used to say that till a child is like 9, like this approximately 9, they have to know their own language. They have to get information only in their language, read books, consume media in their own language, and then like kindergarten and then their peers. Of course, it's inevitable for us not to speak other languages, because like for example, my niece, they spoke only Kazakh in their family, but when he started going to kindergarten, he started speaking Russian, and then he went to another international kindergarten, so he started speaking English. You know, like even though without the motivation and creation of parents, he starts speaking 3 languages. It's just because of the amount of his background, surroundings of certain like community, I think. So I think language shouldn't be learning a language for a child, I think, shouldn't be forceful process, you know, that they could like suffer. Oh my god, I have to do this, like for example, passé composé, subjonctif, I don't know, this like grammar, like that. They shouldn't suffer from that. I think language should happen in a place where they can really practice. For example, like my they never learned like grammar as I learned Russian grammar, but they start speaking because they were using in real life. But my Russian was like learning grammar, reading lots of books, and then start speaking, you know. I think it if you want your child to learn different language, you just put them in that place, in that like society, I think, so that they could speak. But I think it's also I can't just position myself, oh, this is right, this is wrong. There are like both pros and cons, but in my opinion, I think mother especially like reading books for a child in their mother tongue plays a very important role in shaping their personality and creating this identity in general.
I think that's all. Now let's count ourselves. How many do you get? I got
8.
You got 8?
Yeah.
I got 10. Oh, I win.
No, it was not fair.
Why it's not fair?
Maybe I said like, oh no, I played, but I didn't play.
Maybe. So congratulations for Team Lala.
Team Lala won.
But anyway, it's really such a interesting topic, and it's really new for me, honestly, because do you know when you start talking about your concern, because I know you always talk about this in the class, and I feel like, oh, this is what really happened. Because in the class I feel like, oh, okay, but when we talk like this, this why she always talk about this. I can understand it now. Anyway, thank you so much, Zeinura. We have something for you.
Oh my gosh, you give this. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was such a pleasure.
So this is the postcard from Indonesia.
Oh my gosh.
So this like another province in Indonesia, Lampung.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hope you will not only
oh my gosh, you wrote everything.
You can read that later. So I hope whenever you think about Indonesia, it's not only Bali. I'm tired people asking me about Bali.
Oh, Bali.
So you knew
Lampung.
Lampung. Lampung. It's in my island actually. It's not my province, but it's in my island. And also I have this one thing for you. Do you know that I have a story about this? So we have a kind of like problem about finding house in Aarhus, in Denmark. So maybe if you cannot find it in Aarhus, you can go to Copenhagen, and this is the money for you.
Thank you so much. It's like manifesting into my future life. Maybe I'll find in Copenhagen.
But anyway, thank you so much. It's such really interesting topic, and also discussion. Like I said, oh yeah, this is new things for me. yeah, because I don't really have that kind of like story.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I feel like I'm trying to like imagine what will happen in my country.
Yeah, if the same happened to you.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for asking these questions, because I think like mostly in general it's like overlooked topic, and like they were like in class I think it happens like that, but in general there's lots of backup story.
Yeah. And also I think it's because we know, I think my friends like from Indonesia, we know about Russian, we don't really know about the country after the Uni-Soviet, like Kazakhstan or maybe Uzbekistan and the other Tantan. Sorry, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but I think it's kind of like really new thing for us. So let's close this podcast. Let's meet again in the other episode. So me, Dea, and
Zeinura,
we want to say goodbye. Okay, and then see you in the next Playdate Podcast.
Yeah. And reminiscing our childhood memories.
Okay.